Okay, welcome back. The second knot that we want to look at is called uh, it's called two half hitches. And for this knot, you're going to want your rope and something like a can or a bottle that you can tie around. I think a bottle works great because I can actually loop it up around and it just kind of sits there for me. And that's kind of nice as you're tying your knot if you have something where it just kind of hangs off a little bit. It's not doing it perfectly, but it's doing it well enough. And so the way that I deal with the two half hitches, if my bottle get back into view, is I take my rope, and I'm going to cross the one side over the other. Now, just like the square knot, that makes a loop there. And I'm going to take my piece of rope and I'm going to tuck it up through the hole. Okay, tuck it up through the hole. Okay. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to cross it over again. Now remember, I was on the left and I crossed over this way. So I'm going to cross over again and make another loop. And I'm going to take the end of my rope. Now I didn't give myself much rope this time, and tuck it up under. And then that makes what's called a two half hitches. And that's great for tying something down, like if you're tying a tarp down and you want to make it really, really tight. And you know, this knot, the more you pull on it, the tighter it's going to squeeze around this bottle. And so you do want to be a little careful because if it does get wet and you tie it, then they might be a little harder to untie. Here, if you get behind the knot, which is kind of hard on my bottle because I got to let myself get a little too close, you can actually undo it. You can actually pull on the loop and it'll come through. So let's try that a second time here. I'm going to come down a little bit lower. I think it's a little easier to see here if I'm down where it's level. So I have my two pieces coming around my object like a tree or a tent peg or something like that. And again, what I'm going to do is lift that up just a little bit. I'm going to cross over and I'm going to come up under. All right, so there I am. Now I crossed from this side, so I'm going to cross over again. And I'm going to take this piece and tuck it up under the loop. And again, then I can just kind of pull on my knot to get it to kind of cinch down a little bit. I'm dealing with a bottle here, so it's a little bit harder to get it to cinch until I get really tight around the bottle. Those are called two half hitches. And we use that again if we wanted to tie something to like a tarp. We can just let that cinch right around the grommet on the tarp. And the nice thing about this knot is, again, you can actually slide it. It slides both ways. So if you have that around your grommet and then you just pull tight on it, it's just going to keep cinching up tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Of course, I don't want it to get too tight around my bottle because then I won't be able to get it off, and I don't want to have to cut the rope. Okay. So one more time with two half hitches, because understanding this one's important because we have another knot after this. And so let's just do it one more time here. Again, coming around my bottle here. I'm going to give myself a lot of rope this time. So I come around, and there I have my two ends of my rope. In this case, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Really doesn't matter which way you go. I always like to usually go from left to right myself. So I take the left-hand side, cross it over, and then I'm going to come up through my loop. And then I'm coming out here. So over on this side again, I'm going to make a new loop. So I'm going to cross over. So there I've crossed over. And then I'm just going to tuck it again up through the hole. And then you just pull on that to tighten your knot. And then we have our two half hitches. And again, the more you pull on this end of the rope, the tighter that knot's going to get. And it's really easy to undo. You can actually pull it once I cinched my knot up a little bit, I actually pull from the end on here, and I can actually slide it, pulling up here and here. Okay, and that's called two half hitches. And we use it to like tie a tarp to one end of a line, and because we're okay with it tightening, getting really tight around that. One problem with this knot, you wouldn't want to use this for like a clothesline, because as you hang clothes on, the rope gets tighter and tighter and tighter, keeps sagging down, pulling on that knot, making it tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And it could get really close up to that tree. If it rained outside, it's going to get wet. It's going to be really hard to undo. It's going to become really hard to undo. So there's actually another knot that we can use if we don't want the knot to pull tight.